So we're going to talk about transforming the ad experience. I'm going to talk about one of the hottest subjects out there and what that has to do with native, 5G. But before we head into that, I know we're all marketers in here, right? So let's take off our marketing hats for a second. We're also all consumers. So let's forget everything we know about marketing. As a consumer, can you all just take a second and think about what was the last ad impression that you saw today? Before you came here this morning, maybe last time you checked your phone. Can you think about it? Have you guys pictured it in your head? I have it pictured in my head. All right, now I have to ask you.
Okay, thank you.
Was that ad helpful to you, or was it annoying? Annoying. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to talk about how not to do that. All right. So 5G, let's start with that. It's a really hot subject. It's such a hot subject that my 67-year-old father calls me up from Palm Springs earlier this year because 5G has been in the news a lot lately. And he said, 5G, Verizon, Missy, what does that do? What does it mean? Are you going to get promoted? Are you going to get fired? What does this have to do? Because that's all parents ever care about, right? But to be fair, my dad, even though he's an older gentleman, he's always wished that he was James Bond, so he's always kind of been an early adopter, very much on top of technology, so I was glad he was asking. And I said, honestly, Dad, it's awesome because 5G is going to change everything. It is going to change the way that we communicate. It is going to change the sustainability of our cities. It's going to change how we educate our children. So pretty exciting stuff. Another question for you guys. Does anybody here that doesn't work at Verizon Media, has anyone here heard of the fourth industrial revolution? Yeah, all right. That's right. Okay, so we've had 3 industrial revolutions in this country so far. We had steam, electricity, and computing, and all of those were major technological advances that paved the way for serious innovation. Okay. And we believe at Verizon Media that 5G is the next big technological advance to usher in the next industrial revolution. So what is 5G? 5G literally means 5th generation wireless. We started with 1G. The very first voice mobile phone call happened back in 1983 by a company that eventually became Verizon. My dad promptly went out and bought a mobile phone. It was the largest thing you've ever seen. It actually had a purse that made the Zach Morris phone look really sleek. And then we, many years later, came with 2G and text, which changed the way that I prefer to communicate with my parents. 3G, we have data, and that's where we have the smartphone and where we have apps. And that, at that time, we could have never imagined where apps would have taken us today. I don't even know how I live my life without apps anymore. And then 4G, thank goodness, video came so we can watch video very well. And then what 5G is going to do is it's going to take us beyond the phone. So beyond the smartphone, and it is going to impact every single vertical and industry out there. From medical, everything that you can possibly imagine, 5G is going to pave the way for some serious innovation. And the reason for that is because of the processing power and the high fidelity waves that 5G brings about. So the way that this works is, just to kind of layman's term it, right now, we all have these giant cell towers, right? So in my neighborhood, I live in Los Angeles, they're disguised as palm trees. These big, nice cell towers, they send out these very long signals. And so think about it as shorter waves, and they go a really, really long distance. So what 5G is it's small cell technology. Does anyone here have a wireless mesh network in their house? Yeah, so it's the same concept. So you have these small nodes around your house. It has much of a more dense, broad wave. Doesn't go as far, but it really improves your processing capability. So that's what's very exciting about it. So we're starting to build this infrastructure. At Verizon, we started in October. We've launched in 4 cities, LA, Sacramento, Houston, and Indianapolis. There's much more to come. And what we're doing now is we're working with partners across every single industry. We have a program called Verizon Alley, and we're experimenting and providing that 5G technology and capability so that they can, start to test and create and start and see what we can do. So that's been a lot of fun. In LA, I'm in the Playa Vista office in Los Angeles, and we actually have a 5G Riot Studios studio for filming. And it's really, really cool. I actually have filmed in it myself because I do a little fireside chat series where I interview executives, and so I've actually gotten to film there myself, which was super cool. And just to explain what this does, we have a lot of live shows at Verizon Media, and so you guys all know CG. And what 5G has enabled is for real-time processing. So with CG, as you know, you shoot it on a green screen. There's a lot of processing and post-production that happens, and it takes a very long time, and then you finally produce animated content. So we had this live show where the host, in a live a live show where the host was talking to a guy that came in wearing a green screen outfit, but he was actually one of the characters from How to Train Your Dragon. I can't remember the character's name. My daughter loves this movie. I should know better. But it was so cool to watch it live because it looked like he was interviewing a cartoon character, and it was live, and it was happening. It looked amazing. So that's what 5G does, and that shows the capabilities there. So let's pull this back to advertising and what we all do. When I think of the things that have been really game-changing for advertising since I've been working is the iPhone. And again, going back to the mobility of that, apps, all of a sudden we have in-stream capabilities. The next thing I think about is programmatic and what we can do with data and how that helps us manage our overall marketing campaigns and be so much more efficient and smart and all the things. And then we have 5G. And what that's going to do is that's going to create these really super connected experiences. So what I was just explaining with the live 3G character, I mean that you can create these really immersive, unique content experiences, and they're good. They're amazing, and they feel real, and you can watch it on your phone or whatever else that we invent after that. So again, just to demonstrate the processing capabilities, I'm going to give you this example, and I think this really is helpful. So 2-hour movie, I need to download it on my iPad because I'm going on a road trip with my family, and I need to entertain my daughter. Now, she's 8 years old now, but when she was a toddler, back in the 3G days, that was my husband and I were like, oh my God, we're going on a trip, to 3 days before we're leaving. We were like, we have to download a new movie on the iPad, or she's going to freak out in the car, and we're going to have the worst car trip ever. And we had to start 3 days in advance because sometimes it would even time out. So literally the time that it takes for you to actually go to the airport and wait in line and board and do a flight from Sydney to New York, that is how long it takes to download in 3G. 4G, huge improvement. The time it would take me to go out on a nice quick run, that is how long it takes to download a 2-hour movie. What 5G will change and how that will make it better for us is by the time I actually say, has it downloaded yet? There. So that shows it's that fast. So again, pulling it back to advertising and what this means to us. People want better experiences. We know this, there's a lot of studies on that. But 79% of people say experiences are just as important as a company's products or services. So I think we actually had some great presentations this morning where we talked about great brand experiences. So think about some of those companies. I like to think about back in the day, this is 101 marketing. I used to manage an Abercrombie & Fitch when I was a young person, and we weren't just selling the clothes. We were selling we were supposed to be cool and selling that lifestyle. I know that's hard to imagine, The point is, some companies do a really amazing job at having these really immersive experiences. And whether that's in-store or in their app or on their webpage even, they do a great job. But once you actually extend that out to all the various advertising touch points, that's where the ads become annoying, right? And that's the difficult thing. So 5G is going to change that because we will actually be able to create these immersive experiences within the ad. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. We're actually doing it today. I'm going to show you some examples of how we're already doing this with Native today and why it's important to play in there in this space. But think about extending that retail experience. So if instead of having that really annoying ad this morning, you were digesting some content and that ad actually had some utility for you, and it actually brought some value to your day, that's bringing that experience into the ad. The processing capabilities that we're going to have to actually finally really unlock real-time personalization analytics. Every company out there says, get the right message to the right user at the right time. This really, really brings us there. We have much more capabilities to create enhanced features within the ad. So again, that ad starts to become a utility. I'll show you some examples in a second. And then one of my favorites is what we can do with XR. And where we like the CG experience, bringing that to life in your worlds. So obviously, digital advertising needs to evolve, but we're already working on that because we don't want to be intrusive, we don't want to be annoying, we want to be helpful. We want to provide that value. And native is one of the best ways to do that. Native is not just a format, it's a philosophy, and it is this philosophy of extending that experience to the advertising touch points and creating that value exchange. And so, I mean, that is something that I am very passionate about, that we are passionate about at Verizon, and with all of our premium content experiences that we have across like Huffington Post and TechCrunch and Yahoo Finance and Mail, and then thinking about what we can do with first-party data, whether it's mail or search or mail receipts, like there's purchase receipts, there's a lot that we can do there. So, and native is growing. It's over 60% of spend as of this year. No surprise there. What's really interesting is native advertising outside of social native, which is, by the way, social native is Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, like everything in the feed. It's user-generated content, the ad goes in there, right? Non-social native is ads that are relevant within premium content. That is growing at a crazy amount, over 80%. And so this is where we really want to focus, and this is where we're experimenting. And what's really important to note is, while social native, all your ads in Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, they do an excellent job at ad attention, do the best job at that. But why non-social native is important and being immersed in those premium content experiences is because you have users that want to be there. They want to be engaged, they're interested in that content, they are engaged in that content, and so therefore it has stronger engagement and better long-term memory encoding. What that means is long-term memory encoding influences purchasing decision, right? So you get great attention with the awesome advertising that you're doing within social, but then hit them when they're engaged, and then that actually influences the decision process. You're actually taking them through the funnel and helping them through that. So native, I know it can be daunting. There is a lot of different formats out there. As you can see, we have all the things, commerce, in-stream, in-mail, but we can simplify this for you, and so can Chenshu, with one set of assets, and we can actually help you with all of these things. My favorite thing to talk about is actually using feeds, and for dynamic product ads, DPA. And we've had some really amazing partnerships with Kenshu and, like, for example, Macy's on experimenting with DPA and all the formats that we can use. So if we have your feed and we have one set of assets, we can serve across all these different opportunities in native and serve within the premium content. And then I'll show you the really cool experiences that we can do. So again, your mobile web, your in-app, and your desktop. And this desktop example is really cool. This is JCPenney's. This is a mail ad that they did using, again, the feed. And when you're doing dynamic product ads, you're doing one of two things. You're either retargeting, which we all know is extremely successful for performance, or you're prospecting. So we can actually find new audiences or serve, try to get new sales on new products from existing customers. So ultimately what you're doing is, by having more engagement within the ad, we're eliminating steps to conversion. So I love this example on all the way on your right. But this is something that we did with Tank Games. This is a native ad, and you have the ability to test the game within the app. So I know I get to play the ad, I get to play the game, I get to see if I like it, and so that is bringing actual value and utility to the ad, and then I know if it actually eliminates that path to conversion. We also have another format called Mobile Wallet that's really cool. This is something we did with Sam's Club. And again, we're serving a promotion within the ad again, within premium content, so they're already engaged, we serve them the promotion. You can add it from the ad. You can add it directly into your mobile wallet. And so if I'm either in or around a Sam's Club, then as long as that offer is valid, it will actually serve that offer and say, hey, reminder, you have this promotion, go spend it. And so that's been tremendously successful for Sam's Club. And then one of my favorite subjects, obviously, is what we can do with extended reality. I am a big-time furniture shopper. I hate going into stores. So extended reality and what we've done with AR has changed my life. So this is super cool. This is with Pottery Barn. Again, using a feed and putting this into our Moments product, I can actually place the coffee table or place the chair in my living room, and I can see how does it look. And I can't wait to see how 5G is going to change this, because again, we'll be eliminating that path to conversion, because I won't even need to order fabric samples, because the rendering will be so lifelike. I will see the texture. I will understand what that actually looks like in my room. It will be so crystal clear that, again, I can just purchase it there right then and there. I don't need to, it's a much faster process. So really, really cool stuff. So again, thinking about the future, I can't even think about all the amazing things that we're going to be doing because of 5G technology, but we have the opportunity to play now and within native. So thank you to Kenshu for being such an amazing partner with us on this journey, and thanks for having me.